Good evening, Anne Kruger with ABC News. The floodwaters that have inundated large parts of Queensland are steadily making their way south. Widespread flooding continues around St George and there are fears for the town of Dirranbandi downstream. But it was Thallon, southeast of St George, that confronted its flood crisis today. From there, Paul Lockyer reports.
Another day, another flooded community. Parts of the town of Thallon went under last night as the swollen Moonee River spilled over a levee. A desperate battle was fought here by the residents to try to fortify the flood barriers.
Everybody got a call. If there was anybody left at home, they were rang and said, "Can you get round here?" And they were there. And what can we do?
They lost part of the battle, but we haven't lost the war yet. We're still saving most of the town, we hope.
The fruitless battle to keep out the flood came with some risk. The threat posed by snakes trying to escape the rising water.
We actually had one of the new policemen that had been brought in. He had one coming up his trouser leg and was only a little snake, but it was a snake on his leg, yes.
Floodwaters have now engulfed big areas of farming land around Thallon. Some farmers are waging their own battles to try to save their homesteads from the wall of water, now moving its way towards New South Wales. Communities and properties across a vast area of southern Queensland are now isolated. They'll be dependent on aerial support for food supplies and medical care for some time to come.
We're getting more and more requests. People are very resilient, but you can only stock so much food.
Floodwaters remain at record high levels as they course past the town of St George. It'll be 2 or 3 days before the water will start to drop in the flooded houses in the town. Only then will people be able to start assessing the property damage. Downstream of St George, the town of Dirranbandi will be the next to face the flood fury. Water is rising fast there, and the town's levees could be put to the test as early as tomorrow. And then all this water will move through the huge irrigation properties, including Cubby Station, before flowing down the rivers and creeks into New South Wales, and eventually into the Darling River. Paul Lockyer, ABC News, Thallon.
The Premier says the flood bill will climb into the hundreds of millions of dollars. While St George is breathing a sigh of relief that waters didn't reach the projected peak, Bollon to the west is waterlogged for the second time in a week. Chris O'Brien spent the day travelling with the Premier.
It was action stations for Anna Bligh in Bollon. The water has peaked twice this week, soaking everything in the small community.
This is a massive water event, the likes of which have passed all of the records known here in the southwest.
Even premiers have to make do with whatever transport is available. Although nothing gets in the way of a Sunday afternoon drink.
So have you had a few people coming in?
Oh, the odd one.
Yeah. You've got to sit back and watch it, mate. That's all you can do.
But when the water goes down, everyone, including the school and new fire station, will face a big clean-up. The news is better for the larger town of St George. The Bollon River got to 13.5 metres, but not to the feared 14.
There's still a lot of water around and a lot of heartbreak yet to come when householders get back in and see the damage. But this community has had a magnificent response.
But the bill for the entire region is climbing.
It's still too early with the waters still over roads and bridges to determine all of the damage that's been done here. Without doubt, though, this will be a damage bill in the hundreds of millions of dollars.
And for towns like Dirranbandi, the pain is yet to come.
Still not out of the woods in a number of areas. We've got Thallon, places that have been underwater, Bollon, we've got Dirranbandi coming up in a couple of days.
The river at Dirranbandi breached its banks this afternoon and is covering the highway to the north. Chris O'Brien, ABC News, St George.